In a godly marriage, what does it mean to fall in love? And how do we stay in love? What is love? Is it that heart-pumping, pupil-dilating thrill that drew you towards that special one? Is it that warm fuzzies you feel when you look at your spouse of 10, 20, or in my case 47 years? What might happen if you don't feel either the heart pumping or the fuzzies? Let's stop for a minute and think back to that first heart pumping moments. See, Romeo in Romeo and Juliet says of romantic love, love is a smoke raised with the fume of sighs being purged, a fire sparkling in the lover's eyes, being vexed, a sea nourished with loving tears. What is it else? A madness most discreet, a choking gall and a preserving sweet. And in the Bible, in the Song of Songs, that beautiful love poem of one man, one woman in marriage, love, says the bride to her husband, is as strong as death, its jealousy unyielding as the grave. It burns like a blazing fire, like a mighty flame, like the very flame of Yahweh. Many waters cannot quench it, rivers cannot sweep it away. Interestingly, in Proverbs, fire is used also as a metaphor for adultery, the harmfulness. In chapter 6 we read, can a man scoop fire into his lap without his clothes being burnt? Can a man walk on hot coal without his feet being scorched? What causes this strong emotion? Let's go to brain chemistry. Romantic love or limerence is that spray of dopamine into your emotional brain. It's a motivation to seek the reward of intimacy, not necessarily intercourse, with your beloved. There's a decrease of serotonin, the same thing that happens in obsessive compulsive behavior. There's an increase of adrenaline. You are ready to fight for your beloved. And the parts of your brain associated with rational thinking are suppressed. You are basically dopey when you fall in love. Hey, fortunately, it doesn't last for more than about 18 or 24 months. Otherwise, people like us, after 47 years of marriage, would be in serious trouble, because imagine if I palpitate every time I see my husband, I would increase my high blood pressure medication every other day. It's a science. We live in a culture of radical individualism and selfish self-gratification that tells us if you feel it, you must consummate it. So sexual intimacy is a necessity if you love somebody. If you say, I love you, then I really want your body to satisfy myself. And sexual intimacy is a necessity for happiness. I'm not content. I can't be myself unless I have sex. It is my personal satisfaction, in fact, my very identity. And if I no longer feel in love with you, then I need to move on for that dopamine high. How do we translate this to our marriages? See, we may have married in that haze of dopamine-induced romance. But then reality sets in. Work, housework, babies, boredom with the daily grind, and then jump into bed and just get it done with. And our partners, your husband, wife, no longer the prince or princess you met at the altar and made promises to. What happens? And how can we get over this? Firstly, know the chemistry. Dopamine-induced haze lasts for about 18 to 24 months. Really? Then what happens? Continuing sexual intimacy between man and woman moves them from the haze of passion to a passional state induced by oxytocin, vasopressin in the brain. We call them cuddle hormones. It's a bit like if dopamine is the fireworks on Christmas Eve, the passional love that keeps you together. It's like the frequent barbecue in the backyard, that sizzle that keeps you together. How do we make the most of this? Keeping the sizzle, bringing the zing back. Firstly, recognize that falling in love is an emotion. Staying in love, loving is a choice. It is an action. The action of loving is a choice. A choice that is countercultural to our worldview of our society today. Radical individualism and selfish self-gratification would say, if it feels good, do it. You need to be happy and fulfilled, so if your spouse doesn't meet your needs, move on. Have an affair, divorce, watch porn, go to a prostitute, something. Make that choice to not follow the worldview. It is a choice. When with time you might feel resentment. Why did I do this? I'm not happy anymore. Because your needs are not being met. Stop and think. You have a choice. You can resent it and be unhappy. Or you can choose to communicate, to build on intimacy and rebuild your relationship. It is a choice that you make, but it is a choice based on covenant-keeping commitment rather than personal self-gratification. It's that choice of looking to the other and building the other up. What can I do for you rather than how can I get what I want? It's not always an easy choice, not always the most comfortable or convenient, but it is the godly choice in your life as husband and wife. So dwell on God's word. God established that first marriage. A man leaves, so there's commitment. He is united with his wife. So there is covenant promises that you made. And then there is the one flesh, the naked and no shame. This relationship is modeled on the relationship of Christ's love for his church. Ephesians chapter 5. So when you read 1 Corinthians 13, the love chapter, focus on how the good of the other rather than the love of yourself. Focus on the long haul, not transient bodily pleasure. 1 Corinthians 13 says, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor. It rejoices with the truth. It protects, it trusts, it hopes, it perseveres. Love never fails. Live it out. Loving actions bring back the loving feelings. So say loving phrases more frequently than negative ones. Remember Proverbs 15, a gentle answer turns away wrath. Harsh words stir up anger. So say loving things. Do something special for each other. Novelty brings back the dopamine. So do something. Think of something fun to do today. Share. Share some special memories. Spontaneity is overrated. Plan something. Share some special things. And above all, as Christians, dare to be different. In Romans chapter 12, we read, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewal of the mind. Then you will test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." Let your marriage, your love, your other focus, sacrifice, and joy in the Lord demonstrate to the world a microcosm of Christ's love for his people.